Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ATR's War Bedlam Media's premier wrestling podcast covering AEW to WWE. I am Sam the SLB, future governor of NXT, co-host of ATR's War, ATR Rising Sun. And alongside me today is the man behind X Wrestling's Nostradamus, Scott.
And we got plenty to talk about today. We got All Out, we got Wrestlepalooza, we got AJ Styles, future retirement, and so much more. And it's also funny, before we introduce our stat man, Sam talks about being the future governor of NXT. Make sure you go out and you have watched our short for NXT No Mercy pay-per-view. Will be on Saturday. By the time this drops, it's already going to be out, but still. Sam's going to take another loss, and hopefully I can get yet another NXT win.
Yeah, Scott's looking up at something he should be looking down at, just like this weekend's why did I draw a blank? Fantasy showdown.
Oh, that's right. Oh no, that's right.
As Sam and I going head to head. First game tonight, so he's gonna have not just one but two losses. All right, rounding out the cast, joining us once again, the gastric gynecologist, the man behind the stats, John the Stat.
The gastric comes from if I eat gluten. That's a good one. Yeah. That might be the best one yet.
All right. Before we begin, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. We have our Discord as well. Also, not sponsored, but I've been sharing this with people. I think I showed this last week. My buddy had just published his book, The Wood and the Rot. I actually just finished this book. I plowed through it. Scott, I know you read. Add this to your list of books you'll read, and when you get time. Right. The when you get time pile.
Yes.
No, that's not anytime soon.
that is a big pile already.
Yeah. But definitely worth the read. We're gonna quickly kind of go through the. You know what? I'm not even gonna go through this card because you guys all watched Wrestlepalooza. You guys all watched All Out, or at least looked online. Yep. You guys should have known who was wrestling who and who's won by this point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna go through it. What I will give you though is the Ethan picks. I'm gonna start with for Wrestlepalooza, we had one Ethan pick of Stephanie Vakir and Io Sky. He gave it a 10 out of 10. I think that's hard to debate.
Yep.
And then for All Out, he gave Briscoes and MJF an 8 out of 10. Unified title 3-way match, 9 out of 10. The AEW tag title match, 8 out of 10. And the world title match, 8 out of 10. So surprisingly, he usually has at least one 10 out of 10 on an AEW show, and he did not.
That's true. So. That's true. And also conspicuous by his absence. Yes, our champion is not here today. He is on assignment and getting his first steps for the Clone Ethan 2026 campaign. It's finally begun. It's getting close to the end of 2025, so stuff has to start now. So Ethan, we'll see you next week.
We're extracting some of his DNA as we speak. I'm not explaining how that happens or what's the process. It's a long, detailed, confidential process. Anyways, All Out, Wrestlepalooza. Where do we begin here?
I didn't watch All Out, obviously, because I'm still far behind, and I haven't ordered a AEW pay-per-view in many moons. But looking at the results, not a whole lot of it surprises me. I like the fact that both Jack Perry and Luchasaurus are back together. I think that's kind of fun. I like that, he got rid of the kill switch belt, threw it into the crowd. They had the embrace. The crowd went wild. So that was a lot of fun. I heard it was a really, really good show. I'm really happy for AEW because they've had some middle of the road shows, and we'll talk about one that happened this weekend for another company. And it's nice for them to be able to get some momentum moving into later in the year.
John, did you watch All Out? I'm assuming.
Yeah. I did not watch All Out. I watched the other big event that happened over the weekend. Since we're about to get into that, I feel like the general consensus online is, and it's surprising that AEW seemed to have the better show this weekend. I think. It seems to be what the general consensus has been.
Mm-hmm.
Here was my thing, because I wanted to kind of go. I actually watched Wrestlepalooza before I watched All Out. First of all, it was the shortest show, and I've been watching movies. I'm like, I just need to put a movie on because All Out's going to take me 3 years to finish.
Right.
So I watched Wrestlepalooza. We'll talk about. I think that'll be our main focus since we've all seen that. All Out definitely had the big show feel. Like it felt big. You know, everything about it I thought was fun. Eddie Kingston coming out was a big deal. This did it have its lows? Yeah, it did. You know, it had all cards. I'm trying to look right now.
Well, you mentioned a low, Sam. Just to interject really quick, I think the low point of the show was probably the Eddie Kingston Big Bill finish. I think is what people were kind of sour to. It seemed like.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that he comes back to take on Big Bill. Regardless, yeah, I think it's definitely that was the weaker point. I mean, you're also following up with Copeland, Cage, and FTR, which I think some people also said was. I'd have to go back on that one. But regardless, yeah. I think after that match, though, I think the card felt like it started to pick up overall. Obviously, I don't watch the pre-shows. I don't have a desire to sift through 3 hours to find 4 matches. No bueno. I know it's like probably like 2, but regardless. No, this felt big. This felt like a big deal. You know, you're in Toronto. Again, you're out of the... I even say Canada. You know, you're just out of the States. Canada loves their wrestling. They showed they love their wrestling. I actually almost thought at one point, and I almost texted you guys. I was just like, I think AEW and WWE had switched crowds. Because how WWE's been having these crowds overseas, they've just been loud and boisterous and excited. And yes, the AEW crowds are a little more quiet. You know, I will be honest, they've been more quiet. But this one, they were a lot more louder and rambunctious. And that'll segue right into Wrestlepalooza, where even John Cena and Brock Lesnar just was like quiet.
Yep. The result of the match was, at least to me, expected. You can't have Cena just stroll in to this match with Lesnar and beat Lesnar. He's only pinned Lesnar once ever in a singles match. Not gonna happen. So I expected Lesnar to pretty much squash him, which it wasn't a squash. It was an 8-minute, 50-second match, but you know, he kind of did. It was very reminiscent of 2014 SummerSlam, where it wasn't so much Suplex City. You know, he had more F5s this time around, but you know, Cena had that one burst where he hit 3 AAs in a row, and then Lesnar still kicked that at 2. So it's like, all right, well, we're done here. Lesnar's about to clean his clock, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, I think the result of it was not surprising. I think what you like to your point, Scott. If the Cena of 2014, you know, a decade ago, essentially didn't beat Lesnar then, how are we expected to believe the Cena of today that is retiring and playing it safe in his matches would beat him?
Correct.
It would not have made sense. So I think it just Brock Lesnar too. He's massive these days, and he's just like beat red now. You know, minutes into the match.
He went pure. He went pure purple faced Lesnar like 5 minutes in. I think that was another thing. Like Sam talks about texting the group. When I was watching this, I almost texted that. It's like Lesnar has reached purple face already, and it's 3 minutes in.
I hope he doesn't have heart problems, because that would be my concern.
I mean, he's kind of been like that his whole career though. Like his face immediately goes red and then it goes purple. And it's like, you okay, dude?
Yeah.
But yeah, him just destroying Cena was just. It was almost the free space on a bingo card. Like, you know, Cena's not going to win every match on his way out. He's only got 4 appearances left now. So, you know, we'll see what happens. There's possibilities for future opponents. So, yeah. We'll see.
I guess the thing that... And I don't know. I'm trying to look at this. We try to be big picture people.
Yeah.
like for example, we do have AJ Styles and Cena happening in Perth.
Correct.
There didn't need to be much storytelling about that.
Nope.
To be like, okay, this can be a one-off. Whoever wins. That's great. This will be fun.
Yep.
The Lesnar one, the only issue I had with Lesnar winning or this match happening, especially with only 5 appearances left.
Four left. Yep.
I don't feel like story-wise it's just like makes sense. Oh, we're gonna squash you and then you're gonna move on to your next opponent before you retire.
Well, I mean, that is true. But if you've looked at what they've tried to do with this last year for Cena, it's been all over the place the entire time. So I guess it's on brand for this final year for Cena.
Yeah.
Just complete chaos.
Now, if that's one he wanted to again, I read somewhere, and I don't know if you guys shared it. Cena said he wants to make people, and he's pretty much planning his retirement plan. Which great, awesome. But regardless, outside of that match, let me look at the rest of this card. Like I said, the women's match, stupid.
Oh my god,
both women top tier.
Good. Yep.
If this was Mania, I would want this to be on Backlash, the rematch.
Yes.
I don't know if you have a rematch there. I don't know. What do you guys think of the rest of the card outside of that?
The Vision versus the Usos was fine until Jay concussed himself, essentially, with the steel chair.
That was a weird spot, yeah.
Yeah.
That happened. A weird freak thing that happened there, yeah.
Yeah. I think it bounced off of Bronson and hit him back in the face, and then he cut himself, and it was just like, what the hell?
The side, not the full on front of the face of the chair, but the side of like the leg of the chair caught him.
Caught him in the face, yeah.
Right in the face, yeah. Yep.
I think adding LA Knight the last second was it makes sense storyline wise, but it felt out of place for this match. I mean, I know it led into Raw where Jay and LA Knight had their match, but I don't know. That felt kind of weird. AJ Lee and her husband versus Seth and Becky was fun. It wasn't like, obviously you're not going to get a 5-star match right off the rip with AJ coming back, but I thought it was a fun match. I enjoyed that. Cody and Drew, after reading what I read about how there might have been a different type of finish to where they kind of went with it, I feel like what we got was kind of, I don't want to say disappointing because it was a good match, but I kind of wish they would have gone with that other route, which from what I read was supposed to be Randy accidentally costing Cody the title, putting it on Drew, and then Cody would obviously then be chasing once again, which I think Cody's better as a chaser than he is as a champion. I can put Randy Orton in that same boat as well. And then, Drew would have a nice small little run with the title. And then I think either Cody was going to win it back or Randy was going to turn on Cody when he was going to go back after the title. And then we'd finally get Randy versus Cody in a nice feud. I think those seeds would have been more fun to have planted than Cody just winning straight over Drew. When Drew's been busting his ass, literally and figuratively, I feel like he should have had the title.
No, absolutely. Especially, I don't know where you go with Cody now that he won the title back off of Cena and he's champion.
Right.
Like, I don't expect him to hold this title again to next Mania. Or maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe they feel super safe with Cody and like, this is going to be the guy.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they thought, they looked at it and they think you'd have, because obviously Crown Jewel's next in Perth. And we have our Crown Jewel champions again. They're championship matches. Both champions go after one another. So they probably felt that it's safer to have Cody versus Seth when it's face versus heel than Drew versus Seth and heel versus heel. So maybe that was one of their main reasons why they do it. I would personally love maybe to see Randy cost Cody the Crown Jewel Championship. Maybe we can kind of still funnel our way into that feud. I just kind of feel bad for Drew when it comes to that. Yeah, I don't know. And the women's match too. Well, we obviously don't know. By the time this drops, SmackDown will have already happened, so we'll know who Stephanie Van Kuur's opponent will be, because Tiffany Stratton's facing Nia and Jade Cargill. English is tough. On SmackDown to see who will be the women's champion to go after against Stephanie. But I don't think it doesn't matter who any of those three. I don't think Stephanie's losing. She's been on such a hot streak since she's come up from NXT and even in NXT. So yeah, I think the rocket is firmly planted on her back and she is going.
Yeah, and the fact that she's learning English too now, it seems like her English is getting better and better.
Yeah.
So that'll only help her as far as speaking on the mic goes. Yeah.
Yep. And she still does really good English promos.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, and you're right. The 10 months that she's been learning English, I'm just like, wait, in 10 months you already can speak pretty damn well. You have a full conversation. You can switch back and forth between, Spanish and English without any problems. But yeah, it's great. She's been a perfect signing for WWE.
I would absolutely say so. And again, talk about people being dropped by, they had the opportunity and they didn't take that one.
It's true.
Let's see. What else do we have? I mean, pay-per-views are done. Obviously, we got No Mercy. That's just passed. Perth is coming up. AEW has Wrestle Dream coming up. Let me think. I didn't get to watch it. And I probably should. But right now, NXT and TNA are finally doing this invasion angle. And just to add to that, and Scott, I'll let you kind of elaborate on this more. I think they've copyrighted or they're trademarking the term invasion.
Yes, I think I think I saw something earlier. Well, as of recording this, saw something talking about how they're copywriting it for wrestling purposes. I literally just finished watching Tuesday's episode of NXT before we got on here, so it was fresh in my mind, and I got excited because it's just like, all right, the last time there was an actual invasion, WWE had already purchased WCW. So you kind of knew eventually where it would head. TNA, to our knowledge, right now is still a separate company outside of NXT. So to have them all show up, the majority of them also being former WWE wrestlers, which was also a nice thing. I have to also give Vic Joseph his flowers for his commentary on NXT. Booker T also obviously as well, but Vic is he has a way of dropping one-liners that are Easter eggs for like their previous like iteration of themselves being in NXT or just WWE in general, and it makes the storytelling of the whole thing really fun. The fact that we had Trick Williams and Obafemi were a title versus title match, winner would take all. And the fact that this happened with the TNA title without anybody really, talking to NXT about it or talking to TNA about it pissed off a lot of TNA wrestlers. So last week's episode of NXT, TNA wrestlers took to X and were just commenting throughout the whole show during NXT's Homecoming, which was another phenomenal show. And all of a sudden, even at the beginning of the show, you see TNA wrestlers kind of like walking around backstage or outside in the parking lot, and it kind of built throughout the whole show. The main event was Trick versus Ova for both titles. The TNA wrestlers were all in the crowd. The crowd was popping the entire time when you see new people show up. Mike Santana jumps the rail and it just goes on commentary. So I'm just like, all right, here's here's how this is going to end up then. All right, we're going to have a no contest because there's no way they're going to have a title change without something ridiculous happening. Of course, it's exactly what happens. Trix comes over, slaps Mike Santana, and then Santana fires back, rings the bell, and then literally everybody from TNA hops the guardrail and just starts beating Trix ass. NXT wrestlers, men and women, running from the back, and it just turns into like this entire brawl. And I'm sitting there just eating this up. I'm like, I love this shit. This is great. I just want this invasion angle to be legit, to not be a carbon copy of what happened with WCW and WWE, where, you know, you have half of the main superstars not even show up. You had all the top guys here tonight. So it's already better, at least in that in those eyes. Bound for Glory should be big too, because Santana hopefully will actually take the title away from Trick, and then TNA can keep going. But I hope it doesn't stop there. I really hope that TNA is able to gain some momentum, go into NXT, and take some of their titles, because it's been lopsided, and that worries me. And I know our friend Marcus said the same thing. He's like, where's the evenness here? NXT's taking everything. TNA has nothing. They finally got their Knockouts title back. Let them go in and take some major titles. I want it to work well. I want this to be able to give TNA the opportunity to say, hey, we can be a good product too. Put us on an actual television channel that people can watch, and then watch them bloom. Because I really feel if they get enough momentum behind them, they can be the number 2 wrestling company in the world.
You get them on CW. I think CW would be perfect for them.
I agree. 100%.
So if you had NXT on Tuesday, Impact on Thursday, now, because even when we were younger, I remember, obviously Spike always comes to mind. Spike was like the channel that TNA I always remember being on. We didn't have cable. So SOL if you had no cable. You know, you couldn't watch TNA. I would only hear from Andrew, making fun of TNA again. You know, TNA's done some weird shit. But CW is in how many more houses? Because it's not considered, it's basic television.
Yeah.
Like, you could grow. You know, I know they were trying to do that with NWA. I don't know what the hell happened with that contract.
Wasn't there an issue? There was some controversy. I think there was like something to do with somebody doing drugs or something.
It could have been that.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I don't know I don't remember the context of it, so I won't even try to explain it. But I remember something about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they ended up losing their contract, and then they went straight YouTube for a while. Oh no, they went. What was it? CW, like their app, instead of being on television, and then they dropped them eventually. And I think, and NWA, I think are they just YouTube now? I don't remember.
They've been up and down with that.
Okay,
but yeah. So as I'm looking, actually, CW Network reaches 100% of the U.S. television households.
So yep, that's definitely a good place to live.
And you know what? There's plenty of people who already watch TNA. It'll be easier for them to access, like myself.
Yep.
Like you, Scott. That was one of your things. You don't want to pay the $5 for the YouTube channel,
right?
But you don't have that. Well, now you have access, but you didn't have access.
Now I have, exactly. Yeah, that was a lovely thing. Like my plan stayed the same, but channels had switched like their tiers, and all of a sudden I looked it up on my app just to see like what I have for channels, and I noticed Access TV was one of the options now, and I'm like, oh my god, this is fantastic! I don't have to be a week behind anymore. So now I'm completely up to date with TNA as well. So the only one I'm behind on is AEW, just because there's 4 hours of wrestling to watch, and you know that's sometimes a little bit tough to do when I'm already watching 7 hours of wrestling. Actually, 9 hours of wrestling when you got Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and TNA. Something has to lag behind because I can't do everything. I can't watch everything and still have a life. I'm not Ethan. I can't do it. That's why Ethan's getting cloned, because even he needs help.
It's funny, we're talking about NWA. I just was kind of curious. 330,000 subscribers. They just had their Into the Fire pay-per-view.
Nice.
I was kind of curious. I want to see, was it Power? Is that still the name of the show?
Yes. Yeah, they still have.
Hold on. I forgot to mute that.
No copyrights. No.
Oops.
Actually, that was an ad. So I mean.
Oh, okay. All right. I was just kidding, anyways.
Yeah, regardless, yeah. They're doing fine. They'll be fine. No, I think I would be curious to see what the hell is going to happen, especially the invasion. I kind of saw, Mike Santana post that thing last week, and it was like, we're done. We're absolutely sick of this. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool. Something's going to happen. Not realizing what happened. Yep. Fucking Matt Cardona shows up.
Yep.
When was the last time Matt Cardona was in WWE?
It's been a minute.
It's been a while.
Yeah. He got the loudest pop from the crowd. Like there were plenty others that got some decent pops, but when he showed up, the crowd was like freaking out.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm pretty much with Scott in this one. I want this to be successful. Mm-hmm. And again, I think if you haven't seen my short, I'd go look at it. Is this indirect confirmation that they're about to be bought out? Or the other thing I suggested, and I know some people had some gripes on this one, is there potential for us to get a TNA NXT War Games match this year?
That would be amazing. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I wonder what they would put for a stipulation. But I don't know. I think that would be a lot of fun to have.
I think with the partnership they're having, that I think everything, anything is possible. I think really.
Yep.
Except for winning belts on their side at the moment.
Except that.
Yeah. You can have everything you want. You can have the world. We want your title. Oh no!
Hold on a second.
Pump the brakes.
Well, regardless of that, we're going to be definitely following that. Other things we're going to be following. I want to bring this up quickly. Earlier this weekend, I guess that time recording earlier today, there was an interview with Tokyo Sports from AJ Styles, where he had mentioned that he will be retiring sometime in 2026. Not surprising. I don't think any of us here are surprised, because he said this a long time ago. This contract is his last contract with WWE, which would be his last contract, period.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, 20 years ago, we'd be like, oh, there's a chance he could go to TNA. That's right. He made his career in TNA. It's not happening.
Yep.
Yeah.
It just makes me sad that people that I've followed for the majority of my adult life are retiring from wrestling, and it's especially Cena, watching his entire career unfold as a fan. It's like, my God, this is crazy. I feel so old.
Yeah, it's a reminder of how much time has actually passed.
I know.
Pretty crazy.
That's almost, I think that's about just under 2/3 of my life, his career. Pretty much. AJ Styles, if you want to talk about somebody he's been in the business longer than Cena has.
Yep.
I actually went on this little random rabbit hole, and come to find out, I didn't realize there was one WCW pay-per-view we actually appeared on. That's how long he's been in the business for somebody his age.
Nice.
Obviously Dustin has. Obviously Triple H did years ago. Yeah, whatever. AJ Styles, I think, still feels kind of new.
For the WWE audience. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
He's still been around for over a decade, which also, by the way, like, what the hell?
Yeah.
How's it already been? I think he said, what, 11 years already in WWE? It's like,
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
it's insane.
Yeah.
But you're right. He still kind of has, even at 11 years, still kind of like a new, like a newness to him. But I don't know. It's sad to see him go. Yeah.
Who do you think retires AJ Styles?
That's a great question.
I feel like he's the type of guy to put somebody over.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But who would be that guy?
Shot in the dark, but I think just from what I have seen recently, maybe Dominic Mysterio, maybe. I think just shot in the dark. I think, but I
That
think
one
that's
would
a
make
possibility.
sense.
Yeah,
That I could see.
yeah.
Especially them being in technically kind of still a feud. Also, speaking of Dominic, real quick, there's things that I've seen online that Cena is going to have a match with Dom before he's done too. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. It's the rise of Dominic Mysterio needs to be studied. Just like watching him as, this fresh baby face in the Thunderdome era, which again is its own little time period that people need to look at and actually appreciate because of what they were able to do during the world's darkest moments. And like the way he's evolved, the stuff with Rhea, and then him just turning into Dirty Dom, and then the betrayal of Rhea, which again was like, how does a heel turn heel on a heel? Like, what is going on? Turn more heel. And then, yeah, it's just now the stuff with AAA, and now him being the mega champion. And I don't know. I feel like he needs to go on like a run. Like he needs to retire his father for good. Take out AJ Styles. Obviously, he's gonna have a match with Cena. He'll probably, if he beats Cena, he's gonna be like, I'm the one that really sent Cena into his retirement. I'm the one that sent the GOAT home. He can do that.
Yep.
And I'm also looking forward to when Liv comes back from injury, how they're gonna kind of turn that with the whole Roxanne Perez thing, because they seem kind of chummy. They're not really pushing it because Liv's probably still months and months and months out. Yeah, I don't know. Dom feels like a good choice, but a name popped in my head that I don't believe they're on the same brand right now, but I still feel like it would be interesting because they're kind of in the same vein of wrestling style, but someone like Montez Ford.
All right.
Because the Street Profits are in their little bit of, I don't know, panic of what they're going to do, if they're going to stick together or if they're going to separate. There's supposed to be a draft again at some point. Maybe that's a time to move them over, separate them for good. Montez Ford is a future WWE champion. He has the look, he has the move sets, he has the charisma, he knows how to talk. He has everything. He's just in a tag team. So I feel like, and I'm not saying that Angelo Dawkins is holding him back, but I feel like you need to be out of your tag team before you can really be taken seriously as a singles competitor.
Are you calling Angelo Dawkins the Marty Jannetty of the Street?
I am not. I am not. And honestly, if Marty Jannetty had done so many drugs, I think Marty Jannetty would have done a lot better for himself in his career.
Yeah, that's usually a holdback.
Yeah,
no
just
expert,
a bit.
but
Just a switch.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's funny that you bring up Marty Jannetty with any tag team, because that's immediately where you go. You go to the Rockers. Who's who in the Rockers, when it comes to tag team breakups. But I feel like Angelo Dawkins is easily immediately in the mid-card title picture. Because for a while, people were like, "Oh, Montez is going to do great," and then Angelo Dawkins came out of nowhere and was like, "Oh shit, okay, this guy knows how to do what he knows how to wrestle too. This is going to be good." They're going to do perfectly fine by themselves, as long as WWE knows how to lean into their strengths. I feel like Triple H has done a better job at that than Vince did, especially in the later years. So there's hope, at least from how I'm looking at it. Call me a mark or call me a shill or whatever for WWE, but we'll see what happens.
Well, it may. What I feel like, Scott, to add to your theory is that maybe it might end up as a situation with like with the APA, when I think that like the 2000s, like 2004 or 5 or something like that, like WWE kind of lost like some top guys at that time. So they called upon Bradshaw at the time to become JBL.
Yep.
And at the time, looking back now, JBL was actually fantastic.
Absolutely.
Like, and it was really an emergency situation there, like making him like the WWE champion and everything like that at that time, separating APA and everything. So if Cena's retiring, AJ Styles is retiring, injuries are subject to happen. Who's to say they don't call upon him to do something like that?
Yeah, that's an excellent point. Yeah. It's funny that you bring up the split of the APA, because I remember watching that draft episode where they split them up and then they made them fight one another. And I was so sad because I'm just like, no, don't fight with one another. You're the APA, god damn it.
Yeah.
And then the next, what was it, like maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, here comes JBL. I'm like, what happened to Bradshaw?
Yeah.
That was definitely the one. He's the one that does come to mind too. I remember being a little kid because the APA was cool, and then JBL comes out, and I'm like, what the fuck is what?
Yeah.
And again, at that age of what, like 12, 13 years old, I didn't have as much time with wrestling as you guys had at that point, but I was just like, for me, I was just like, this is a little, I don't know what's going on here. Now, as I look back, kind of the same thing with Kurt Angle, I look back and like, they did their job. JBL was the arguably probably could go head to head with Kurt Angle during that time as being a heel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also funny because if you look back at Kurt Angle's career, the majority of his career was in TNA.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So, I forgot even why we were talking about that. I know we were talking about the Street Profits. Retiring AJ Styles. That's why.
Yeah.
Full circle back to TNA. So, I don't know. I think we'll be watching that. Hopefully they give us a set date on like the Cena retirement, which has moved now.
Well, I mean, they always said December. So now we have like whenever Saturday Night's main event is. I think that's in the middle of the month. Didn't
they say that's not in Boston now, though?
No, Boston was moved to November. They have it, I think, November 10th. And then he's in the Garden on the 17th of November. And then he's gone for the month until the Saturday Night's main event.
So wait a minute. Do you think his last match, or hold on, clarify this for me. Is his last match in Boston or is his last match in DC?
Well, his last appearance is in DC at Saturday Night's main event.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's having a match, but we don't know anything yet. He's going to be at Perth, obviously, for AJ Styles, and then Boston, New York for the Garden, and then gone for a month, and then comes back for Saturday Night's main event.
This is why I ask, because I'm wondering if his last match is going to be in Boston, and then he has his last like appearance as a superstar in DC.
It's possible. A lot of people have been throwing around the whole thing of Batista coming out because DC Batista. So I don't think that's going to happen because I don't think Dave doesn't want to ruin his perfect ending that he had, and I don't blame him.
No,
I mean, as much
he's
as I want,
done.
the only way I want to hear his theme song again is when he goes into the Hall of Fame.
Yes,
that would be the perfect way to end Dave Bautista's career. He had his match with Triple H. He put Triple H over, which I still feel he shouldn't have had to have done.
He's an up and coming star, don't you know that?
I feel some terror rising from that. But yeah, it's just I don't know what's going to happen. And outside of the AJ Styles match, which I'm sure is going to be amazing, 8 a.m. start time for those of you on the East Coast. So that'll be a fun show to watch in the morning. But yeah, after that, I don't know. I'm assuming if they're going to do the Dom match, maybe that's his last match. Maybe Dom takes him out at the Garden, and then he's gone for a month. You get vignettes, or you get something, and then he comes back at Saturday Night's Main Event.
Yeah, that's a good way to. I mean, we got a couple months, so we'll be speculating on how this turns out. You know, the last point or the last topic that came to mind. I know we were kind of scrambling. I totally forgot about this one. Obviously, I'm assuming you both didn't watch Dynamite. Tony had a big announcement, guys. Haven't heard that in a while. Too long didn't read. We're finally getting those women's tag titles in AEW. You saw the belts. I posted the photo. That's the thumbnail.
Yep.
It's the men's belt with the word woman on it.
Yep.
That's really what it is.
And they have the blue. The men's have the blue. Do they?
It looked so similar. Sometimes I just look at the belt quickly. I'm like, that looks the same.
They looked identical. I saw the belts. I was like, oh, then the crowd goes mild.
That's unfortunate.
Now, I think this is a cool interesting talking point, because I understand the idea that there can be too many titles. I also am kind of on board with the idea of women having a tag division. However, I made a point in my short, if you didn't see it. I think the biggest problem with the WWE tag title division, women's tag title division, was I'd say almost 100% of those tag teams were forced.
Yeah, they were.
There were no women's tag teams that were just there from the start.
Yep. And you know, sometimes you get magic out of that, though. But more times than not, it takes time for all these teams to get chemistry. So you throw a women's tag title on somebody, or on two people, and then you kind of see how it goes. AEW does have some good women's wrestling, but I still feel like they're still lagging behind the quality of the men's matches. And you give them another title to play with the television time that they don't really have. And honestly, WWE does the same thing with their tag titles, men and women. They're just kind of there sometimes. And I don't know. I feel like they need to do a better job with their storytelling to make these tag titles worth having. So to just introduce another set of titles in AEW, which already has title bloat, to say WWE doesn't, because it does. It just added the men's and women's speeds titles to NXT. So now they have like 7 titles just in that one brand alone. There's a lot. So I don't know. If you're able to tell a good story with it, then it's great. I believe that the women should have a tag title, but they need to have actual women's tag team wrestling to make it worth its while.
The only actually, you know who? 2 things. First and foremost, I think TNA has some pretty good women's tag teams.
Yes, they do.
Defined. To flip to that, I don't know if they technically signed with AEW, but I know they're on NWA often, is the Renegades. It's the only other one I've seen on AEW back and forth.
That's true. Yep, the Renegades. Yep, the Renegade twins are good. They got that more grunge version of Twin Magic than the Bellas.
I'm not as up to date of AEW programming as I used to be, but I can't even think of a women's tag team in AEW off the top of my head.
No.
So I worry that it'll just be kind of like what Scott said in WWE, just or maybe Sam said it, I don't remember, just like random pairings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like hopefully it's not the way that they go, but yeah. Hopefully there's something more to, because if you're going to introduce another title, you don't want people to be groaning about it like, oh, here we go, Tony, like you know.
Here, I'll use this as a good example because this kind of comes to mind is when WWE reintroduced the Cruiserweight title and you had the Cruiserweight Classic. And
Yes.
I don't think the belt was even in the picture until after the tournament.
I believe you're right. I don't think the winner won the Cruiserweight title. I think they just won a cup because they won the Cruiserweight Classic.
Yeah. And then it came down the road. I think that for any new title, and especially for viewership, I mean, go back and look at the Cruiserweight Classic. Why did that belt come back? Because that was a fire tournament.
That tournament was amazing. All the tournaments that they had back then, because they brought international stars in. I mean, Zack Sabre Jr. wrestled in WWE ring, for that Cruiserweight Classic.
So if you wanted, you could have built a couple of rando tag teams and then go, hey, let's find some women's tag, because that was. We're gonna go back to day one. The Bucks said we're gonna rebuild tag team wrestling.
Yep.
2019, we're gonna rebuild tag team wrestling. And they went looking for the best tag teams in the world, and they found quite a few.
Yep.
They should have taken the approach before they dropped these titles.
Correct. You're right, 100%. And if it leads to a more New Japan style of things, where everybody starts getting together as little factions, you have some women factions running around. If that works well, I mean, one tag team I guess that comes to mind is what are they? The Triangle of Terror with Tekla, Julia Hart,
the Triangle of Madness or something like that.
Sky Blue.
Yeah.
So there's one tag team in the women's division. Obviously, it's a trio, but I mean, Sky Blue and Julia Hart have wrestled together for years now at this point. So you could say that they're a tag team.
Allie, I think, is it Allie's back?
That's true. Yep, the bunny has returned finally. I don't know if she's is she in AEW, because I haven't
remember, but I know she was in she would tag team with somebody.
With Penelope Ford.
That was it, Penelope Ford. I know with Ty Mello back, Ty Mello and Anna Jay.
Yep, they've So here we go. All right, we got some teams flowing.
But you know what? When I think tag teams, I think of let's mention the Renegades, or let's mention who does TNA have? They have like a handful.
Yeah, I mean, you got the Elegance brand, who are the current Knockout Tag Title winner champions. Who else has been Xia Li and Zia Brookside? They're a tag team. The Inspiration, formerly the Iconics. Yes.
Yep, okay. Yep.
Them as well. So I mean, yeah, you get ones that show up. My brain always goes to ODB and Eric Young when they were the mixed knockout champions. But yeah, I mean, TNA has always done a great job with their knockouts. Both with the singles and with their tag teams. So honestly, all the other companies are really just trying to intimidate, and they're trying to they're just trying to be like what TNA did. They started the whole thing. They had the first all women's pay-per-view before Evolution became a thing, before AEW did theirs as well. It's just, people keep sleeping on TNA. They shouldn't.
We've been saying this for years, Scott.
I know. Oh, I know.
TNA isn't the same brand that your uncle grew up watching. This isn't your Hogan or your Bischoff TNA.
No, God. You're Dixie Carter TNA.
This is like Ring of Honor TNA.
Yes. That's another thing. Ring of Honor. Man, I miss Ring of Honor, not AEW Ring of Honor.
30 matches in 5 minutes.
Oh. AEW Dark and Evolution. No. Flashbacks. 19 matches in a 7-hour show on YouTube.
So that's the thing. I was gonna go to this week. The week this drops, AEW is gonna be in Lakeland, which is 45 minutes from me, and it's for Collision. I'm cool. I'd go see a Collision taping.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to go watch like a. First of all, it's a Thursday, and as a grown-ass adult, I don't want to go out during the week. Second of all, I don't know if I want to watch Ring of Honor tapings. Which is wild, because John, you and I, Ring of Honor would come around, and you and I would be like, we need to go to the next, War of the Worlds or Global Wars or whatever they were doing in Lowell.
Yeah.
It's funny how that comes full circle.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. We're running out of time. Was there anything else? I guess let's just wrap it up with this. What do you guys think about the ESPN rating on the WWE?
I don't know why they're doing these ratings things, but I mean, Wrestlepalooza was a slow burner. I won't say it was very mediocre. I think it wasn't the best. For them to drop a rating like that, I don't know. I thought that was strange. They just came right out with a C or whatever, C- or whatever it was for Wrestlepalooza.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's funny. The person who's been doing, they've been doing wrestling reviews on ESPN for a while now. It's just it's ESPN, so it's been buried for in the very far reaches of ESPN. You have to go digging for it, but the guy who's been doing it has been getting a lot of traction on X recently. We actually now follow him because his tweet showed up, and I'm just like, oh, you're the guy who's been doing this stuff. Okay, cool. Honestly, a C is not a terrible rating for this show. I know Ethan, in our group chat saying that it seemed like it was a little harsh, but honestly, a C is valid for this show. It wasn't anything spectacular. Honestly, I think the best thing about the whole show outside of the women's match was the intro package that they had talking about wrestling in ESPN. I thought that was honestly the best part. Otherwise, it wasn't a terrible show. It wasn't a great show. It was literally middle of the road, and I really hope that they do better with Perth.
It's being back in school again. A C is passing.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be. Yeah, yes, I know C's get degrees, but let's aim a little higher here, folks.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I would agree with that. I think it's a good, and again, you can always go up. There's nothing wrong with that. I know some people thought this was trash. People saying it's the worst pay-per-view of the year. If this was, I think we've talked about this. If this was Raw or SmackDown, this would have been a great Raw or SmackDown. But if you're going all in on a new streaming service and you want to bring people in, you need to aim. You just need to do what you did with Raw and Netflix.
Yep.
Yeah.
What they should have done is they should have waited until Perth to do this, because it's a non-US crowd, and they would have brought more fire to the show.
More notable too, Wrestlepalooza hadn't been seen since the ECW days, or something. I think it's been a long time too. Yeah,
and it's a bit of a goofy name, so it's like you want to come across as something serious. Wrestlepalooza, not exactly the way to do it.
Anytime I heard a wrestler talking seriously about it, like Seth Rollins, you want me at Wrestlepalooza? I'm just
30 years ago, you would have been like, all right, But hold on, if we'll leave on this because we're running out of time. So I'm just gonna go through some other ECW names that they could have used. Hell, look at the first one, the live event from February '92, Market Street Mayhem. You could have gone with that. That's better than Wrestlepalooza.
Yep.
Ultra Clash, Bloodfest, November to Remember. Well, that's cursed, so we can't use that.
That's true. Yeah, we can't use that one.
Ultimate Jeopardy's better. When Worlds Collide. Oh, interesting. Hostile City Showdown. Hardcore Heaven. Well, they weren't in a hardcore. Actually, that was like NWA, ECW. Extreme Warfare. Hostile City Showdown. Wrestlepalooza, we don't care. Gangsta's Paradise. November to Remember. December to Dismember. Holiday Hell. House Party. Big Apple Blizzard Blast. Cyber Slam. Just Another Night. Big Ass Extreme Bash. This is 96. Let me shoot forward a little more. Living Dangerously.
That would have been nice.
Seinfeld, that's copyright, but all right. A matter of respect. Heatwave. You could have gone with Heatwave.
Well, NXT has Heatwave because NXT has also been stealing a lot of the old ECW shows too.
Yeah.
Break the Barrier, Hardcore Heaven. I'm repeating myself now. You could have gone with something else.
Yeah.
That being said, before we head off, guys, tell everyone where they can find you at.
Ladies and gentlemen, another week has passed, and I have not joined the X universe as of this recording. maybe it has to come to where the other three guys as part of Above the Ring make me a login and say, "Here you go."
This will now turn into John's running gag throughout the whole thing.
You cannot find him on X.
Nope.
No.
I'm going to add that to my intro. Cannot find him on X. But we can find your movie reviews, I hear.
Mm-hmm. Yes. My Facebook page, quick 1-minute movie reviews that come out every so often when a new movie drops. It's called Lamped, LAMP''D. You can find those if you want to check those out. I'm probably going to do one actually related to this. I can mention it after it comes out. I'll probably do one for the Smashing Machine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I'll let you know how that is when it comes out.
Word. Scott, where can people find you at?
You can find me pretty much everywhere as Scotty J Stream on all platforms throughout everything. One piece of note, actually, we didn't talk about this, but at Wrestlepalooza, we want to congratulate Stephanie McMahon for being the first inductee into the 2026 WWE Hall of Fame. Taker and the whole gang was able to actually legitimately surprise her with this during the show. So I thought that was a cool moment. But bringing everything back, yeah, that's where you can find me everywhere.
And you can find me as the SOB Official on X, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I also handle the Bedlam Media one, which I haven't done with in a while, and we probably should at some point, but that's a me thing. That's not a you guy thing. Like I said, we're on everything. We're on TikTok, guys. We're trying to hit 600 followers right now, so feel free to follow us, share, repost. We're on all streaming platforms. If there's one you cannot find us on, please let us know. We will put ourselves on there on your streaming platform. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a review. Tell people why Above the Ring and Bedlam Media is the podcast of your choosing and why they should listen to us as well. Guys, we're out of time. This show has been a C. Thank you for listening. And as always, do not forget to join the Bedlam.
Thanks, guys.